Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is our final video on array lists. This is a bit of an optional video. I am going to dive a little bit deeper just into some of the available methods to help us sort of avoid the common pitfalls that occur with array lists. So let's get started. Let's talk about some of the methods we have available to us. Now, I had mentioned previously that if you really want to sort of dig deeper into some of these, you can always just go to the Java Oracle documentation and see all the things that are available to us. Let's get started with an array list of strings, and we're just going to list out a bunch of numbers. A new array list. This is always really easy for us just because we can make a list like this. That 100 seems excessive. Even 20 kind of seems excessive, honestly. And we'll just do numbers. Actually, numbers is kind of long to keep writing, so I'm just going to write nums dot add, and then we will do this correctly. Dot value of I. There we go, and we can print out our list of numbers right there. Let's compile and make sure that this does exactly as what we intend, and it does. So let's get started. Now that we have sort of our basis, let's look at some methods that can help us avoid errors. For example, the first one we're going to discuss is contains. So contains will return a Boolean, and it is looking, I better write this differently. Contains element returns Boolean. Let's take a look at how this thing will work. We can say num.contains, and we can look for anything. We can look for the string 1. We can look for the string 100. And what we will find is when it is there, we get true. And when it is not there, we will get, obviously, false. Things to ask ourselves, can we search for a completely different data type? We sure can, and it just will come back false. So even if for some reason something really weird happens, our code isn't going to explode. We're just going to get false because this is looking for the number 1, and that does not exist in our array list. What exists in our array list is the string 1. So it's just worth noting that those would be considered different because they are different types, but our code doesn't explode. All right, the next one is index of returns an int. And this one works exactly like the string version of it. If we say nums.index of 1, we will get, I better put this in brackets to start, I better show a positive working case. We will get the value 1 because it is going to be found right there in index 1. Of course, the indices matching maybe is confusing. So let me just rerun this one time. I will change those around. Now we have from 1 to 10 in here, and we can see that the index of the value string 1 is in position 0. This, just like contains, will not explode if you go looking for the wrong data type. It will just give us that -1, just as you would get if you tried to find something that just didn't exist. We get that same safety net of, oh, well, that just doesn't exist, so it's totally fine that we're not going to find it in there. We don't get this kind of safety with the strings version of these methods. This is strictly because of how array lists are being stored and used. A string can only ever hold a string, but array lists, they actually technically can hold any kind of object. So we have a little bit more safety built into its contains and index of methods. This next topic is actually a little bit advanced, but we're going to do it anyway. As I said, this video is optional. Later on, we're actually going to be like in a next topic discussing like searching and sorting in a little bit more detail. So this will actually come later, but it's worth looking at now. This idea of sorting our array. Now, contains an index of effectively do searches, right? We will talk about doing searches ourselves more manually in the code in the next lecture. However, we are still going to look at, and then, sorting algorithms as well. But we are going to look at the built-in one just for 1 minute here. Now, keep in mind that in an assignment or on an exam, if you're asked to write a sorting algorithm, you cannot use the built-in one. Without getting into too much detail around how collections work and what this means, what I can show you is that this is already going to be in order. So instead, let's make some quick changes here. Let's update this example. Integers, And let's import java.util.random. We got to get some randomization going on in here if we really want this to show anything interesting. Let's add, I don't know, 10 numbers is still probably fine. And now random, I better make the object up here. And let's start adding random values to our array list. Our array list. Boy, I keep calling it an array. When I print it out, we get some random numbers, and they are pretty large. We can change that to be like something slightly more reasonable, right? Like values that we can actually look at and see, and they're all jumbled up. That's what we want. It is worth now learning about two new methods that we have access to thanks to this collections class. We can sort our array list by a very simple call to this method sort. And print it out. I better clear, give ourselves a little bit of space here. Here is our original array, all jumbled up. We called collections.sort, and now it is in sorted order. A very helpful method for future you. Put it in your pocket for future you, because we are not going to let you use it in the course. We have another method available to us. Actually, let's just leave those in there for right now. We also have access to one called collections.reverse. And I'll let you guess what we think this one is going to do, because I'm so tricky. There we go. Let's go ahead and clear this. Compile. Oh, I missed a semicolon there. Clear one more time. Compile. And then run this. Oh, that wasn't the run button. There we go. Here we have our initial array. Here we've sorted it. Here we've reversed our array. Now, reverse doesn't have to come after sort. Reverse strictly does a reversal. So it doesn't actually do the sort itself. It's just doing a reversal. If we don't do the sort at all, just so that we can see what I mean, we're just going to get it in the reverse order. But still very, very helpful for us to know how to use. Another fantastic utility that we now have access to thanks to array lists. Now, we've already shown off some of the other common pitfalls throughout the videos. We've talked about wrapper classes and how primitives need to get boxed up or they become auto-unboxed when we start using them in different capacities with respect to array lists. So really, this is kind of where our array list conversation gets put on hold for a second. We have access to a plethora of methods and functionality thanks to array lists. And yes, I have shown you how to use the collections class, and also no, you cannot use it yet, because next up we are going to talk about searching and sorting. And in those videos, we are going to talk a little bit more basically about what happens underneath that sort method. Right now, it just looks magical to us. So let's take the fact that we know that these values can be sorted and pull it into our next topic, where we will actually discuss different ways of sorting our data. Thanks if you chose to watch this optional video, and I will see you in the next topic.